Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe here in the house on this Wednesday. Very nice, pleasant spring day here in the Washington, D.C. area. I hope you're fine wherever you are. And we have another great session lined up. We're going to talk about what I call unlocking real estate wins, proven strategies from top investors. So I've done some research on some of the strategies that successful buy and hold real estate investors implement. And so I wanted to share that with you today on this nice, joyous occasion, and so on. So why did I pick this topic? I think one of the things is that we always, at least for me anyway, I always enjoy learning from others, especially other people's, who are a bit more experienced than me, and learn from people's mistakes. And so, as the saying goes, a wise man a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a genius learns from other people's mistakes. So our goal here on this podcast is that you are all becoming geniuses and you can learn from other people's mistakes, so you don't have to make the same mistakes, or what I call unnecessary mistakes. So you can get to where you need to go to a lot faster without a lot of wasted time and frustrations and stress and things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Some of the real estate wins and proven strategies from top investors. Most of the focus is going to be on sort of buy and hold, since that's what I do and that's what I enjoy. And obviously, there's lots of strategies in real estate investing, short term, long term, mid term, and so on. So we can't cover everything. So I thought I'll just do a little focus on winning strategies from buy and hold investors. Maybe another session we'll talk about winning strategies from maybe other strategies like wholesaling or fix and flips or bird dogging or whatever, and so on. Anyway, so let's get down to it. So I suppose the point is what are the key strategies? What key strategies must real estate investors master to build a resilient and profitable portfolio? And I put there resilient. Resilient, in my opinion, is something that is long-standing, passes the test of time. It's not a fad that comes and goes. There's always lots of fads in real estate. What's hot today, maybe cold tomorrow. And I like strategies that have, kind of are proven and are time tested. That's why I like the buy and hold method, especially what I do, which is focused mainly on Section 8 and focus on acquiring quality tenants who what I call tier 1 tenants, because we know that is a time test. There's always a need for quality housing. There's always a need for people who have low income to find housing, and there's an opportunity there, and the housing authorities, Section 8, always pays. So it's recession resistant, and money's coming every month, come what may. And as I said, my longest tenant is 27 years, and every month for the last 27 years, that money has hit my account, come what may, good times, bad times. It doesn't matter what year. So that's what I call resilient. It's something that it's there, it's reliable, you can bank on it, and also it can be very profitable. So that's what we're going to talk about initially in this introduction. So in the ever-evolving landscape of real estate investing, mastery of certain core strategies and certain principles, I think, is essential. It's not something that is important. It's essential. And so today we're going to kind of focus on some of those essential strategies that new beginners and seasoned investors can implement, and also increase their chances of success. So we're going to sort of focus on several things. First of all, one is identifying the right properties. That's important, obviously. Optimizing your returns and managing the assets effectively. And also we're going to talk about navigating economic changes, because we all know that real estate goes through cycles. It's not always good times. There are bad times as well. And we have to be able to survive regardless of the market cycle that we're in. So that's what we're going to cover some here. So we're going to talk about the importance of aligning sort of your decisions with sound market analysis. We're going to talk about the importance of property management, dealing with tenants, managing tenant relationships, and also adapting to the market fluctuations that inevitably occurs. So we kind of going to harness on some of those strategies and why it works, and how you can make it work in your situation wherever you are, and so on. So so let's buckle down and let's get going. So number one, I broke into 4 parts today. Part one is strategies associated with identifying investment opportunities. You've got, obviously, number one is you got to buy something somewhere somehow, and so you have to be in a position to identify investment opportunities. That's obviously the key. And so the question, I suppose, is how do seasoned investors identify and capitalize on lucrative real estate investment opportunities? So what do seasoned investors, what do they do? How do they identify and sort of capitalize or leverage on these opportunities that exist? Okay, so that's what we're going to cover first. And obviously, if you're going to be a successful investor, you got to be able to figure out, you got to have an ability, I suppose, to spot and recognize certain properties that meet your criteria. We're doing the buy and hold, so it's got to obviously have the ability to generate income and hopefully appreciate in value over time. So how do you identify that kind of stuff? In my opinion, it requires a deep understanding of certain things like market trends, what's going on locally wherever you are. You got to have an understanding of zoning laws, what's taking place, what you can and can't do, where the opportunities are, and also some of the local economic indicators wherever you are. Because what works, let's say in Detroit, may not work in Washington, D.C., may not work in Atlanta, may not work in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So there are local situations that you have to have a knowledge of, and to make sure that you're able to leverage and complete that strategy where you are. So, for example, some people like to focus on what we call emerging neighborhoods. These are what I call neighborhoods on a path of growth. They may not be there right now, but over time, given your local knowledge, it's just a matter of time before the growth gets to where, on these emerging markets. So if you can buy there a little earlier, where the price is a little bit more reasonable, and you can hold on to it and stay there, then it's definitely something that's worthwhile to consider. So that's number one there. And then also, you've got to do the financial analysis to make sure the numbers work for your chosen property. And you got to be able to obviously capture the total acquisition cost, calculate that, what's it actually going to cost you. If this includes any purchase cost, any renovation cost, holding costs, and selling costs, that's total cost of acquisition. You got to be able to determine the ROI, return on investment, of your property. And you've also got to have, I'll say, a disciplined way to actually run the numbers. And, and there's technology nowadays that you can use, spreadsheets, online calculators, online programs, AI tools out here, which can make that job a lot easier. You can do things today that you maybe couldn't do a few years ago. And so it kind of provides you with greater insights. And you also can tap into a lot of invaluable data that can help you as part of that analysis process. So, you can network with local investors, real estate agents, property managers, in terms of helping you find out what's going on locally, maybe some opportunities that, that are out there that's not common knowledge, and so on. So the key, though, is to be able to identify properties that meet your criteria and also are likely to, help you with your your long-term investment goals. So what are some of the action items associated with identifying investment opportunities? I pulled 3 down here today. First one is regularly review and analyze what's going on locally in your market, market reports, local economic data, stay informed about growth areas, because, sometimes it's just better not to buy in the pricey neighborhoods, but buy in areas which are a bit more reasonable, but are on the path of growth. Therefore, you can buy at a reasonable price and hopefully hold on to it. And, and in time, what may be a warm market now becomes a hot market later on. I've successfully done that quite a lot. Time, it's amazing what time does, if you buy it right anyway. Another action item is to sort of develop a financial model for what's going to work for you in terms of your metrics, in terms of things like cash on cash return, things like internal rate of return, net present value, all these financial metrics. I think it's important that you understand what it is that's important to you, such that when you do the analysis, you can determine whether it meets that criteria. And as part of that whole process is to leverage technology. I am really into technology now, especially AI. It's just amazing what now you can do. It's scary. I mean, some of these tools, it's really exciting. So there's a lot of tools out here that can make your job easier, the task at hand a lot easier. You can really become really efficient and get a lot done in a relatively short period of time. So leverage technology, network with others, like-minded people in your local area, and so you can learn from them, their experiences, what works for them, and hopefully you can avoid making unnecessary mistakes. So that's number one, which is all about identifying the right properties. Number two is, strategy that success people do is optimize rental income, optimizing rental income. So we're now talking about primarily buy and hold investors. And obviously, if you buy and hold, you're going to be generating rental income. So the question, I suppose, becomes what strategies can investors like you and I use to maximize their rental income from their properties? How do we maximize the income generated from our properties? So maximizing rental income obviously is key. There's two sides to this ledger. The one thing is to maximize income, and the second part is to minimize your expenses, and therefore you can grow your profits. So maximizing rental income is critical really critical for long-term success of any real estate investment. This involves not just setting the rent, okay, but also things you can do to maximize income by enhancing the property's appeal, functionality, and you're doing it in such a way that you can attract quality tenants, tenants who are going to pay, tenants who are going to take care of the property, tenants who are going to stay a long time, and hopefully tenants who's going to be pleasant to deal with. That's what we're looking for. And and so you can do things like strategic renovation, which is what I do on my properties, to really try and differentiate my product, my houses, from my competition. And so I'm able to attract and appeal to these high quality tenants. And hopefully once they come in, they stay a long time. So, certain things like appeal, practical value. I add bedrooms. As you know, with Section 8, the rent is based on the number of bedrooms. So I try to increase the number of bedrooms. I do that quite a bit. And, you can modernize certain things like the kitchen, the bathrooms, and that in order to increase the rent and also to increase the attractiveness of the of the property. Sorry. Obviously, in order to maximize income, you got to have a strategy for effective marketing of your property. And once people are in your house, have strategies to make sure people actually stay. So tenant retention strategies. And also, obviously, you got to advertise, and you got to be able to have a listing that talks to your desired tenant, and have clear photographs, videos, and enticing descriptions. All those things matter. Because as I said before, I'm at a point where I know that I'm looking for a great tenant. If I'm looking for a great tenant, then other people are also looking for the same great tenant. So why should that tenant choose my house versus your house? Okay, why? What is it about you that's going to, attract them? And that's what I've learned. And that's been the key to my success. It's just my different mindset shift. And that's why I try to differentiate myself right from the get-go from my perceived competition, such that I can appeal to the desired tenant that I'm looking for. So check out, understand fully who you're trying to appeal to, What are their characteristics? What are the amenities that they like? Where do they want to live? Where do they not want to live? Who do they want to rent from? Who they don't want to rent from? What kind of house do they want? What kind of houses they don't want? Take the time to learn all these things, because it'll help you, position your product in such a way you appeal to these potential, customers. Some people, which I don't do, is use what they call a dynamic pricing model in order to maximize income, rental income. So, I know hotels use it quite a bit. Sometimes short-term rentals do it. I don't really do it for my long-term rentals, because my goal is to get somebody in that house and they stay 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. But there are strategies out there whereby they use these sort of dynamic pricing models, which will, the rent will fluctuate based on the time of year, what's going on locally, and several other things. So what are some of the action items associated with maximizing or optimizing rental income? Enhance your property features. Those features that are known to increase the rental appeal and the rental value of your property. Focus on things like kitchen, bathrooms, adding bedrooms, and things like that. Another action item would be to develop and execute a robust marketing plan for your properties, such that you can appeal to and you can get people to actually apply and want to actually stay in your property. Things like photographs, videos, compelling description. These are all good things that will help you. Another third action item is to regularly assess the local market and adjust your price accordingly. You don't want to be your property to be out of what's the right word? Out of whack, I suppose, where it's too high or too low. So you have to have a good understanding about what's going on, what's the competition, what's the market going on in your particular area. So that's number two. Number third one is effective property management. So we talked about, buying the right places. We talked about maximizing, optimizing the rent. And the third part is really, effective property management. Because once you got someone in your house, if you're not careful, you're going to have a rotating door where they just keep on going in and out, in and out, in and out, which is very, very expensive, because your turnover costs are very, very high, especially for properties. So we have to have certain things in place whereby we can quality tenants. So the question becomes, how do successful investors manage their properties to reduce the costs and enhance tenant satisfaction? So how do successful investors manage their properties to reduce costs and enhance tenant satisfaction? That's the million-dollar question. What do these folks do? So effective property management is essentially, in my opinion, to maximizing profitability, because turnover costs are just so expensive. Turnover cost is when somebody leaves, you got to clean the house, it's empty, you got to paint it, you got to advertise, you got to screen, you got to select, you got no money coming in, you still got expenses going out. It's very, very expensive. So you got to figure a way to, to reduce the turnover costs. So what successful investors know is that good management practices goes just beyond fixing problems. If the electricals or the heating system is down, it's more than that. It involves certain things like proactive strategies to maintain the property in good condition and also to keep the tenants happy. I'm a big proponent of having happy tenants. It's one of the metrics that I do. I have surveys. I send out surveys to my tenants to gauge how they are, how I can be improved. What am I doing well? What could I do better? I mean, I send surveys out to my tenants, and I listen, I learn, and I make adjustments accordingly. So I want to make sure my tenants are happy, because if they're happy, they're going to stay. If they stay, they're going to take care of the house. And if they stay, the profits stay in my pocket. So there's a business reason why I focus on tenant satisfaction. Things like routine maintenance not only keeps the property appealing, but also, it's going to encourage people to want to stay there longer. And so it's going to reduce turnover cost and vacancy rates. So in addition to physical property management, in my opinion, successful real estate investors also place a high emphasis on tenant relationships. Okay. This involves clear and open communications between you, the landlord or the owner, and the tenant or the property manager, and having multiple ways where people can reach out and contact you. Hopefully you'll be responsive, and you can build trust and satisfaction with your tenants. And because this not only improves the tenant retention, but also encourages timely rent payments and hopefully will have them take better care of your property. Furthermore, savvy investors often use property management software, to streamline various operations. There's lots of software out there now, especially online ones, which you can use to manage your properties and your portfolio. There's quite a few of them out there. I'm not going to advertise a particular one, but do your research. Depending on what makes sense for you in terms of the number of properties you have, the ease of use. There's a lot out there. Okay, so what's it called? These software, these online property management outfits or platforms, they handle a lot of things like tenant screening, lease management, rent collection, maintenance, scheduling. I mean, there's a lot of things that these software can do. It's pretty, it's changed a lot, really. And also you can use it to enhance communication between yourself and the tenant. And you can automate routine tasks. So hopefully you can have the system, the technology, handle some of the more laborious tasks, and then you can focus on more value-added tasks. So what are some of the action items associated with effective property management? I put 3 out here again. One is to implement a scheduled maintenance program to regularly check in and also fix potential issues before they become significant problems. That's number one. Foster strong communications between you, the owner, the landlord, and tenants through regular updates, and also be responsive and prompt to tenant inquiries and complaints. And then thirdly, utilize property management software to automate certain tasks such as rent collection, maintenance requests, and tenant communications. So that's number 3. And again, we're going to go to Ask Dr. Joe segment. If you got some questions, put them in the chat box. I'm going to get to you in about 5 or 10 minutes. And I'll try to handle and try to answer as many questions as you put out there. Anything to do with real estate investing, landlording, buy and hold, BRRRR, fix and flip, tenant management, tenant relation, all that stuff. If you got a question that is bothering you, is worrying you, you got a tenant from hell, put them in the chat box. Let's see what I can do to provide you my take on it. Okay, so number 4 is to navigate market fluctuation. We all know real estate is, it's not static. It's always changing. There's always the environment that's, is changing. So markets fluctuate. I've been through 5 real estate market cycles, 5 of these up and downs. And so I have a pretty good idea how it plays out, how it works. And I've been able to survive all that time. And so if you want to have a sustainable rental business, then you've got to be able to adapt to market fluctuations. And that's why I chose Section 8, because if a tenant loses their job, it really doesn't matter. All they got to do is go to the housing authority and their portion of the rent will go down and the housing authority's portion will go up. So the tenants goes down, housing authorities goes up in the event they lose their job, and vice versa. So hold on a second. So the question, I suppose, becomes what tactics do top investors use to mitigate risks associated with market fluctuations? I said, what strategies are these people using to mitigate risk associated with market fluctuations? Because market's always moving in this dynamic world of real estate. Market fluctuations, it really can significantly impact your investment outcomes. So top investors, they not only anticipate these changes, but also develop strategies to mitigate potential risks. So you want to reduce the risk exposure that you have. And savvy investors, they incorporate all these things. So one of the things they do sometimes is diversification in different ways. It could be product type. Instead of just single family, they may do multifamily. Locations, they may do properties in different towns, different parts of the city, different regions, again to minimize too much sort of over reliance on a particular area. And also some people have a variety of different types of properties, things like residential, commercial, industrial, to kind of spread the risk around. And so what this does, as I said before, it spreads the risk, ensuring that your portfolio, the investor's portfolio, isn't just overly dependent on the economic sort of conditions of a single market or property type. So I like, I mean, there's value for diversification, but there's also value in specialization. And so you got to go with what makes the most sense for you. I don't have a problem with, not having much of a diversification. I think there's a famous entrepreneur said, you can put all your eggs in one basket, but you make sure you protect that and you look over that basket diligently. So I know what I do well. I do it very well. I developed expertise in that one, and I look over and watch it like a hawk, and so on. Whereas the traditional approach is kind of diversify, spread all your your assets over a wide swath of property types, geographical areas, and so on. I don't know. I just prefer specialization, and so on. But obviously, you need to understand finances, the numbers, and leverage, and how to effectively use leverage to your benefit. Leverage is a double-edged sword, I suppose. You can use, especially financial leverage, use a small amount of money to buy a larger property, but it can also be, it can wipe you out if the market shifts on you and things like that. So be careful about leverage. It's important to understand how it works, and it can definitely fast track your portfolio goals and your investment goals, rather than buying everything for cash and saving up until you have enough money to do that. So successful investors, have a healthy balance in terms of the different types of loan products that they go with, and also the cash flow that they're generating from their property. So this cautious approach is designed to take into account that there are market downturns, and so sometimes you got to be careful and be cautious, and how you proceed. I've seen people wiped out, unfortunately. So so obviously economic analysis, financial analysis becomes really important, and and then you have to make informed decisions. You have to at some point you're gonna have to pull the trigger, and then you have to develop some criteria, and then pull the trigger and go forth. So what are some of the action items associated with mitigating market risk or market fluctuations? Things like diversifying your real estate portfolio in terms of different markets, different property types, and diversify against localized economic downturns. Another action item is to practice sound financial management by securing loans with favorable terms, and maintaining a healthy debt to income ratio. And then finally, number 3 is regularly review economic and real estate trends in your area, stay ahead of the curve, and adjust your investment strategy accordingly. If the market shifted, maybe what works in one phase of the market cycle may no longer work, and so you got to have some level of flexibility to adapt based on the realities of the new market environment. So in conclusion, the question then becomes, how do these strategies that I've talked about today collectively ensure the success of real estate your real estate investment? I mean, there's no guarantees in this world, obviously, and so integrating the strategy which I've talked about today, if you can implement that, it does provide you with a robust framework for achieving success as a real estate investor. Each strategy, that I've talked about today, from things like identifying lucrative investment opportunities to all the way through managing the properties and navigating market fluctuations. All these things play a critical role in your resiliency and your ultimate success. The synergy between these strategies, though, enhances really your ability, kind of not only just to anticipate and respond to challenges, but also to capitalize on opportunities. That there are times where opportunities are there, and you have to be ready to be able to pounce and take advantage if and when those good times occur. So a holistic approach to real estate investing, highlighted through today's discussion and live stream, I think it could be the basis for your success. It's very important. It's a holistic perspective, because it's not just to excel in one area. You got to be able to excel in several areas. And the approach I've talked about today is designed to mitigate risk associated with market volatility, tenant issues, and financial management, while also simultaneously optimizing your potential for growth and profitability. So finally, continuous learning and adaptation is vital. And the real estate market is continually evolving, so you need to learn accordingly, or you need to adapt accordingly. And these changes are for various reasons: economic changes, technological advances, and also shift in consumer behaviors. So stay informed, be flexible, and adjust where necessary in your strategies. And I think you should be okay. You should be okay. So hopefully today was a good session. It's now 7:33. And so that's what I talked about today. Hopefully it's giving you some insights on what successful investors do and how they unlock real estate wins and proven strategies to maximize their success. So that is it, my friends. Let's get down to Q&A in a second. So if you got some questions, please enter your questions in the chat box, and I'll try and get to them shortly. Again, if you want to shoot me an email, you can reach me at joe@joeasimo.com. And if you want to do a one-on-one with me, where if you have a situation, a question, a concern, a challenge that you're facing, anything to do with real estate, if you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can go to my website, and you can go there, www.joeasimo.com, press the button called Ask Dr. Joe, and then you can pick a time that works for you in our session. And I've done quite a few of these things. They're working out very, very well, very, very informative. And I think I'm providing hopefully helpful information that's helping people motivate and pull the trigger and so on. So if you need if you would like a one-on-one session with me, please go to my website, joeasimo.com, and you can book a session. Just press the button which says Ask Dr. Joe. Oh, before I forget, this Saturday, which is April the 27th, I'll be a guest speaker at a real estate investor event here in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. It's going to be between 1 and 4 p.m. And I'm going to be talking about, how to raise private capital, how to raise money to reach or at least for your real estate deals. We all need money. But how do you raise money in this difficult, challenging environment? I've been pretty good at raising money for my deals, so I'll kind of give some of my secrets away at this session, and it's really a good one between 1 and 4. It's at the where is it going to be at? It's going to be at the Glory Days Grill at 3141 Duke Street, Alexandria, Virginia. It's free. So please come on down. I'll be there between 1 and 4. Again, 3141 Duke Street, Alexandria, Virginia, 221. Alexandria, Virginia, between 1 and 4 this Saturday, April the 27th. So please, there's also going to be a panel there with other seasoned real estate investors and real estate agents are going to be there. Should be a good one. So if you're in town, if you're not too far from the DC area, please join me. And it's a free event, and I think it's going to be a great one. Also, I think in May, I'm going to be speaking in Richmond, Virginia, for an event there. And also I'll be doing another event. I'll be a panelist and speaker, I think May 22nd, I think, next month. So I'm going to be out there the next few weeks. So please, if I haven't had a chance to meet with you, please attend. And I'll love to meet you, see you, and hopefully provide you with quality information that can help you pursue your real estate investment goals. So with that said, my friends, let's get down to the Q&A. Let's have a look. Amon, hey man, how's it going? Good evening, Amon. Hope you're doing well. And Dow too. Hey, I hope you're doing well from Phoenix. Hope it's all as well where you are. Oh, let me give you congratulations to Charles, student on the JV Wealth Builders. He's just got a house put under contract this week, a couple of days ago. So congratulations, Charles. Looking forward to working with you on that deal. We should be closing, I think, middle of next month, May. And also shout out to Corliss and Fritz on their project. It's going real well. And also shout out to Femi. I spoke to him today. His tenant should be moving in there next week, May the 1st. And that will wrap it up for his process. He had his inspection this week and for Section 8. And a couple of minor things that they want done. So he's already taken care of that one. So I think he's scheduled for re-inspection. And he'll be doing that hopefully sometime this week. So the tenant will be moving on May the 1st. And the rent there is $6,000, $6,188. Oh, my goodness. That's how much they pay over here in D.C. for a 6-bedroom. Intellectual Conversations. Hi. Hope you're doing well. Let's have a look. Janitor on Fire. Hope you guys doing well. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Because I don't know, like, for instance, Janitor on Fire, where you are based. So please let me know. Thanks for not being a total sellout like so many other real estate gurus. Oh boy, what does that mean? Am I a sellout? What? How? Anyway, I'll leave that alone. My goal again is just to provide quality information. I really do want to help you achieve your real estate goals, financial independence goals. I've been able to do it. I've learned a lot on this journey, and my goal is to hopefully help you avoid what I call making unnecessary mistakes. Okay, that too. With your recent student, Femi, I assume that temporary private financing was used for the remodeling. Can you give approximate rate that was given and the length of financing months and down payment? Okay, so on Femi's project, he did a hybrid. He got hard money. They funded most of the acquisition and most of the renovations. He had his own personal money to top up the difference. He had a home equity line of credit. So he used that for the funding. So I don't think he used private financing. I think he used a mixture of hard money and a home equity line of credit on the property that he has. He bought the house in, I think, November. It's about we're in the 4th month now. So it's about 5 months ago. The 12-month loan. So he's still got a few months left. And he's in the process now wrapping up deciding on which company to use for the refinance. So he'll be starting that. He has a tenant lined up. So there's income coming in. So he'll be doing his refinance very, very shortly. So that's his situation. I'm not too sure if I want to go further deeper. It'd be probably better if he was here. But yeah, he did hard money, line of credit. And it's a team effort. You got to have people on your team to find the deal. We had real estate investors and agents, fund the deal. He got hard money and also personal line of credit. Also, he had great contractors, leveraging my contractors. I helped him find a tenant. And now we're in the process of getting the tenant moved in and then wrapping things up. And he will then refi his property, his existing loan, and replace that with permanent loan. Okay, Mohammed Abu Baker, I want to burr with Section 8 in Detroit. Any recommendations? Yeah, if you want to do a burr in Detroit, I'm not too familiar with Detroit, but burr is Section 8 is a federal program, so it's the same wherever you are. There is obviously a local presence, which is the local housing authority. I'm not too sure who the name of the housing authority up in Detroit where you are, but you need to find that out. Find out, what type of properties are they looking for, which group of tenants have the hardest time finding properties, and start developing some relationships with those at the housing authority. I like the burr strategy because, it's a very efficient use of money. You can buy it, renovate it, and then refinance based on the higher value. and hopefully retrieve a lot of your money. You may not be able to retrieve 100% of your money, but you should be able to, recoup a lot of your expenses that you incurred, or the money that you incurred to buy it, renovate it, and so on. So you can do that, Mohammed. And if you want to, you can do a one-on-one with me, book a one-on-one with me, go to my website, Ask Dr. Joe, and we can kind of do a deep dive, and hopefully I can help you as you sort of start on this journey with Section 8 in the Detroit, Michigan. Okay. Where any points, this is from Dow 2, where any points required for the temporary remodel finance? Were any point, I suppose it's were, not where any points required for temporary remodeling finance? He had hard money. This is Femi now. And as far as I remember, it was 90% on the acquisition and 100% on the renovations. So they funded the bulk of his money, and then he used the home equity line of credit for the difference. So did he pay any points on his money? Yes. I think it was either 2 or 3 points he used. But I mean, there's no free lunch, so that's what he did. And as far as I know, everything's going fine, up to plan. Intellectual conversation with BJ. Hi, Dr. Joe. I'm in DC. Other than meet and lease, what are some of the best places to advertise to voucher tenants in DC? Zillow is a good one. I do a lot in Zillow. You can do dchousingsearch.org, dchousingsearch.org. You can do Facebook Marketplace. You can do rent.com. There's a lot of different platforms. Affordable housing, or it used to be called Go Section 8. That's another platform. In addition to what they call the meet and lease, I got an email today. They're going to do another meet and lease. I think it's next Tuesday, the 28th. Anyways, I think it's next Tuesday. Anyway, so they're going to do meet and lease. That's where tenants who are looking can connect with landlords who have properties for rent. That's something that the DC Housing organization, DC Housing Authority does in order to connect the landlords with properties with tenants who are looking. So it's not easy to find a quality tenant, and so they're the platforms I use. I'm sure there's other ones. If you have some other ideas, please let me know. But I use Zillow, dchousingsearch.org, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, rent.com, and so on. Let's have a look. DCC, Fred from Houston here. How you doing, Fred? Is your unique investment strategy still keeping you active for deals in this high interest rate economy, or are you wait and see? I mean, I have a lot of houses, so I'm not really actively buying stuff. I'm more helping people buy stuff. So that's what I am doing. Interest rates obviously have gone up, which makes that the numbers are a lot more tighter than they used to be when their interest rates were a lot lower. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. So it means that on the back end, when you are refinancing, because the interest rates are higher, you may not be able to pull out as much money as you had before. So you're going to have more money in the game, more skin in the game, I suppose, than what it was when the interest rates were lower. But yeah, I mean, I'm still buying, but not as aggressive as I used to do. But I'm more trying to help other people and pass the baton, and so on. That's why I enjoy doing it. As I said, we got Femi's doing it. We have Fitz and Corliss doing it, and we just got Charles. He'll be starting his project very, very shortly. So congratulations to you guys. I'm proud of you guys, and I'm very happy that I've been able to help you on your journey. Aloha from Hawaii. Okay, aloha. Hope you're doing well. Financial firefighter. Okay, a janitor on fire. Aloha, Mark. Aloha. Okay, who have it? I'm sorry. Financial firefighter. JOFI. Oh my God, what's the acronym mean? JOFI. What does that mean? Let me know, because I have no idea what it is. Hello, this is from Grace. Hello, Dr. Joe. Thanks for sharing your great insights. No problem, Grace. Nabasha Bala. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Is there a day of the week you prefer your leases to start and end? If so, why? And thank you. I usually prefer to start my lease on the first. So if the first starts on the beginning of the week, middle of the week, it doesn't really matter. I like to start it on the first if possible. It's cleaner. You don't have to prorate rent. People know rents are due on the first. You can have a late fee. Typically I have a 5-day grace period before they incur a late fee. And typically my late fees are 5% of the rent that they pay, not the total rent, because with Section 8, they don't pay the entire rent. They just pay a portion. And over here, legally, you're not supposed to charge more than 5% for late fees. And we're just in a more, I don't know, tenant-friendly environment here. So, but anyway, that's when I start my leases, beginning of the month, and the reason for it is cleaner. It's just easier. People understand that, and so on. Dow 2, congratulations, Charles. Looking forward to updates from all the students. Congratulations, Femi, on getting your first voucher tenant. Yes, sir. Johnny H, Alexandra VA. Hey, Johnny. John, I know we're supposed to schedule a meeting, talk about JV Wealth Builders. So please book something and let's catch up and see if I can help you out. Grace, for Section 8, how can you ensure that they pay for the whole month's rent if they inspected initially and the house did not pass the inspection and we had 2 other inspections which took nearly a month? Yeah, I mean, this is one of the downsides working with the housing authority is that the process to get a tenant in is definitely a lot more bureaucratic and typically takes longer than a market renter. A market renter, you find somebody that can move in there whenever you agree. With Section 8, there's an inspection that has to take place. The housing authority has to determine what the tenant's portion is. There's contracts that have to get signed. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to submit to prove who you are, that you own the property, and it's a lot of stuff. And so a lot of people don't want to bother with it. They'd rather just rent to a market renter and be done with it. But the process, I know in the DC Housing Authority, their policy is that as long as you submit your paperwork by the 5th, close of business or midnight on the 5th, then you can move in there at the beginning of the following month. So, example, if I was able to submit my documents to Housing Authority by the 5th of April, then I can typically get the tenant to move in there by May the 1st. Okay, so that's what they say. So that's DC. Each housing authority has different metrics and, and so on. So it shouldn't take you a couple of months. It should take you a month at the most. If something's going wrong or it's taking you much longer, then it's some bureaucratic, stuff going on that, you may want to get some clarification on that. Okay. Janitor on fire. Too many people take advantage of their positions to further their own financial positions. I feel you are very fair and don't take advantage of people. I am from San Marcos, Texas. Yeah, I mean, I don't make my money from, courses or, 1 hour one-on-one. I make my money from real estate, rental income. I have properties that generate income. And so I'm fine. It's just that as I said before, I know you're going to have to believe me on this. I'm looking to help people. I know not many people have that mindset, but as far as I'm concerned, the pie is big enough for everybody. There's enough here for you and I. I don't have to hog everything. I don't have to take anything. It's okay if I help you. And it's okay if you pursue your real estate investment goals. And so if I can help you on that journey, let's do it. It's okay. If you have to pay a little bit, fine. I'm not trying to extort people. I'm just trying to help people. I don't have any hidden agendas. It's okay. Okay. So let's make money and let's also make a difference in other people's lives, especially people who are less fortunate than us. Lauren Davila. Hi, Dr. Joe from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thanks for your time. Do you have any homes not on Section 8? If so, what is your experience like managing them? Yes, I have properties that are not Section 8 market renters. They're fine. Market renters, because they're responsible for the entire rent, their credit score becomes very important. A lot more so than Section 8, where, the housing authority pays most of the rent. So, and they have AAA credit because it's paid by HUD. So I'm not so stuck on, you got to have a 750 credit score if you have a tenant on a voucher. But I do have market renters where the credit score is very, very important, because it kind of gives an indication of their payment history, their payment responsibility, I suppose, financial responsibilities that they take. I enjoy both. Not all my properties, as I said, are rented to voucher holders. It just depends on the situation, depends on the circumstances as to, if I decide to select a market renter or decide to rent a Section 8. In terms of managing properties, there's good, bad, and ugly everywhere. You get good, bad, and ugly voucher holders, and you get good, bad, and ugly market renters as well. So it's not just market renters are all good. No. There's bad ones as well. Mohammed Abu, thanks, Dr. Joe. You're welcome. Do you know if your lender resources can lend out of state? It depends on what type of financing you're looking for. Shoot me an email and you can further clarify. I do have some financial folks. There's some folks who borrow money across the country, so they're not just based in the DC area. Dr. Greg Shue. Hi, Dr. Joe. Any plans to make another appearance on the Deeper Pockets podcast? Bigger Pockets, I suppose. I don't think so. I haven't been on. I don't really listen to Bigger Pockets as much as I used to. No particular reason. There's other podcasts which I find extremely interesting. I listen there. There's one podcast. I mean, it's a great podcast. See if I can pull up the name. It's the Founders Podcast, and it's a great podcast. I mean, gosh, that's all I listen to. It's called Founders Podcast, and today I was listening to the one on Michael Jordan. A fascinating story. His story, how he, his perseverance, his sort of his discipline, and just became, how Michael Jordan came from essentially nothing to where he is today. And Founders, that's the podcast. It talks stories like that. Historical people. There's Steve Jobs. I was listening to his the other day, and there's people, Rockefellers and the Henry Fords of this world. I mean, it's just interesting to learn their story. Before they became wealthy and famous, just their struggles. And you realize that a lot of the struggles that these folks have is very similar to the struggles that you have, and you can connect with them. And it's very interesting to learn their story. It's very inspirational. And you look, I'm just learning a lot. So I tend to listen to that. And I got to thank Jiyoung, one of my former students. She's the one that put me in contact with the Founders Podcast. It's a great podcast. I mean, that's the one podcast I highly recommend. Let's have a look. See if I can get you the. It's Founders Podcast. I mean, check it out. It's a great one. And I listen to that every day. I don't really listen to bigger podcasts as much, because I just find that, sometimes you have some good guests, and sometimes you just got guests who I'm just not impressed with. But again, nothing against anybody, each to their own. It's just that I'm at the point now where I like to learn from other people's experiences. And I learn more from that, and and it's very inspiring, and that's where and that's the reason why I enjoy providing quality information to you. There's no hidden agendas. I just want to be of assistance. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be on bigger pockets, but that's okay. Life goes on. Also checking in from Nova, Northern Virginia. Okay, Greg, I'll be doing an event in Richmond. That's more southern tidal, area, but in May. But yeah, well, if you're going to come, I'll be at this event on Saturday. That's in Northern Virginia, Alexandria. So if you're in the area, please feel free to check in with me at Glory Day Grill, 3141 Duke Street, Alexandria, Virginia, between 1 and 4. It's free. Just need to register. That's all. Thank you, Dr. Joe. Great session as always. Thank you. Ready? And so what's time? 7:57. I think we're going to wrap it up in a second. All the best with your keynote this weekend and other panels you're scheduled to appear in. You're welcome. And Founders Podcast is great. Yes, it's a great part. I mean, it's amazing. Amazing. Anyway, I think I'm done for today. So again, if you want to shoot me an email, I can reach at joe@joeasamoah.com. And if you want to book a one-on-one with me, go to my website, joeasamoah.com. And hopefully I'll see you this Saturday, April 27th, the Glory Days Grill, 3141 Duke Street, Alexandria, Virginia. Again, kudos to Femi. Proud of you guys. Kudos to Corliss and Fitz. Proud of you guys. And kudos to Charles. Proud of you guys. It's good when people take action, pursuing. It's not easy. It's not an easy journey. But at some point, we have to take action. And I'm really, really proud of people who decide, let's take action, and so on. So that said, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up for the day, and I'll see you next Wednesday if I don't see you on Saturday this week. Okay, have yourself a wonderful evening. Take care, guys. Bye.